If I was an older player now still playing, I would be getting a bit worried about what's going on. Because you've got fitter, younger, and fearless. That's the one thing they haven't got. They haven't got that fear yet. Once Luke Littler's been beaten a few more times by the same people, then you'll see what his true character's really like. And he has got that character to bounce back.
Welcome to this special edition of Tungsten Talk, when we're looking at the future of darts, concentrating on youth darts. And to do that, we have got the greatest of all time, Phil Taylor. We're going to talk about youth darts, and I guess it's changed a lot since you were a young person playing darts. Just talk us through how it's kind of evolved.
Well, there wasn't any youth darts when I was first playing. Back when I was in my 20s, there was no youth darts at all, because mainly darts was played in pubs, and you had to be 18 then. You know, kids weren't allowed to go in like they can now. They can go in and have something to eat, and they can, you know, go in a pub, where my age you couldn't, you know, my era.
So really, to be introduced to darts, you kind of had to be from a darts family, I guess. Is that how you got into
the game? Yeah. The only place I could play darts was at home. Or now and again we could go into a working men's club, and that was the only places really. And what was so fascinating for me, the pubs, like the Raleigh Arms where I first started playing darts, all the public houses had frosted glass, so you couldn't see in, so kids couldn't see what was going on inside that building, and I was so passionate. I wanted to know what was in, you know, I wanted to just pop my head through the door, see what it was like. I mean, you aren't missing anything, obviously, but when you're young, you know, if you're told you can't see in there, you want to see in there.
What was it about darts then, as a youngster, that kind of attracted you? You mentioned that mystique of the pub, but what was it about darts as a game?
For me, it was fun, but my mum and dad played darts because we never had a TV when I was a kid. So with not having TV, they used to make up a lot of games. So they played drafts, they played dominoes, they played cards, darts. I mean, we couldn't afford a pool table or anything like that then, because there wasn't any, you know. So it was all to do with indoor sports. It's about having fun and passing the time away.
Were they decent players, your parents?
My mother was very good, yeah. My dad was a decent player. I'd say a Super League standard, maybe County B. I don't think he'd be good enough for County A, but he wasn't a bad player. A bit nervous, my dad was. He didn't get past where my mother was the opposite. I think I take after my mother in that way. But yeah, darts was always in the family. But for me, I used to love it, meeting new friends, playing in different places, you know, because if it wasn't for me playing in the leagues, I would never gone all these different places and seen different pubs and met different people. You know, you'd had one local and that'd have been it.
How old would you have been then when you were able to play in a proper competitive darts match?
Oh, proper one, probably 26, 27. Wow. I started getting the darts world and entering the little tournaments. Well, you could enter on the day, or sometimes you had to send your postal order, because we didn't have a checkbook in them days. So you go down to the post office and get a postal order and send your £10 entry fee in, or whatever. You know, places like Derbyshire Open, Yorkshire Open, Staffordshire Open, there was all little opens. I mean, the first one I ever won was a Derbyshire, Clay Cross, and it was £500. And bearing in mind, I'd paid £7,500 for my house. So you imagine £500 was a lot of money in them days.
When you think that 26, you play your first competitive match, there are kids now that are playing proper games at 6 in the academy.
Oh, I know. It's frightening, isn't it? It really is. And the amount of people keep asking me for products. You know, can you get me this? Especially the Omni, where they can play. I got my mate Kevin one. He owns a blind company, and he's brilliant. He isn't the best dart player, but what he got this Omni, because you play on the internet, and you can play people at your own level. Yeah. So he's actually rose a few levels. You know, he's hit a 180, which he took a picture and sent it to me. So you can play on different levels now, and it's great. It's great for youngsters, because obviously it's not safe now to go out on the streets. I wouldn't like, if I had a young kid now, I wouldn't want him out on the streets. So it's great for them. Instead of sitting down on an Xbox, they're actually playing darts.
So something that's come more recently as well in the last few years has been the introduction of darts academies. So kids have got a safe place to go with coaching, with like a grading system to take each other on. Had that been around when you were younger, do you think that's the type of thing that you would have been interested in?
I would have loved it, yeah, because you're playing competitive every night, and that's what you need to do. You know, with me, when I was playing competitive, you only had the odd tournaments maybe once every 2-3 months or every so many weeks, you know. Sometimes a bit closer than others, but where with that one, you could play like Luke Littler and some of the players from his academy, because I met them, and you can play them every night of the week, and your form will improve. It'll get better and better and better. I'd have thrived on it.
Is that why we see someone like Luke Littler being able to be ready to win a world championship at 17 years of age? Because actually he's been practicing for 10, 12 years by then.
I know, it's brilliant, honestly. I mean, my cousin Wayne, we're doing a factory up in Stoke-on-Trent. It's an old factory called Price and Kensington's. And he's asked me if we could put a Phil Taylor Academy, and I said, too right, we can. And I will get involved as well, because I really enjoy that. But the children who ever play, whether it's young kids or a bit older, then they'll have to behave. I'm a bit strict. So they'll have to behave and they'll have to learn, and I'll give them the best pointers.
Is there a balance between, a little bit like you see in junior football, enjoying it and not getting too sort of wrapped up in being brilliant straight away?
You're always going to get your natural players. It's like if you ever go in a bodybuilding place, you'll get people who've been bodybuilding for 10 years, and then somebody will walk through the door and with a better body than they never lifted a weight in their life. It's the same thing with darts, same thing in football. You know, I'd have never been a professional footballer, I hadn't got it. But with darts, I got it. So whoever's got the talent, then it's about them then dedicating their lives, which is difficult when they're young. You know, young Luke, say for instance, as we keep mentioning, his life's only just starting really. You know, he's got a young girlfriend now. Eventually he'll settle down, he'll get married, like Michael van Gerwen did. And then you have little problems in your life, and it's off-putting. You know, It's easier when you've got no strings. But sometimes as well, it doesn't do you any harm if you have got, not a noose round your neck, but if you've got things to make you play. If you've got 4 kids who need shoes for school, and you've got the gas bill coming in, the electric bill, it doesn't half make you get up and practice.
Yeah, we spoke about that a lot, because the kids that are coming through at academies are not going to have that life experience that you have when you start playing professionally.
No, so this isn't something else they'll have to learn by experience. You know, young Luke's going to have to learn. I mean, Luke Humphries is married and he's got a child. I think got 2. So now he's got responsibilities, and you know, and it does take its toll out on you, because your wife is going to start moaning if you're away from home every week. You know, and your children are going to be missing you. So, and you miss things. You know, I've had, when I was married to Yvonne, Little's got flu, and I come back home again and the flu's gone. I missed that. You know what I mean? I'm glad I did, but it's just part of life that you're missing. You know, you're sacrificing your children and your family life for make a living.
Just in general, how do you think darts has got to that point where it's moved out of the pub and now we do have academies and such like? Is it?
Oh, definitely Sky.
Yep.
Sky were very innovative. They wanted to boost the sport up. When I first joined, you know, when we first started the PDC with Sky, they wanted it jazzing up. Peter, I can't think of his second name at the minute, who invented my nickname. He wanted the game to be a little bit like the WWF. He wanted it sparkling, he wanted the razzmatazz, he wanted the younger audience coming in. And that's what he did. You know, he was very innovative and he was brilliant at what he did.
And then as a result of that, we did get a younger audience, and then younger players want to play. We saw the PDC put in the development tour, the challenge tour, then the JDC comes along. So it did take a long process, didn't it? This Luke Littlers and people like him haven't just emerged from nowhere. They had to be given a place to play.
No. Yes, exactly. You know, there was Stockport Academy, and there was loads of youngsters there as well. You know, they're all practicing, and they were all enjoying it with a smile on their face, which was lovely. So the junior dart is going to push on. If I was an older player now still playing, I would be getting a bit worried about what's going on, because you've got fitter, younger, and fearless. That's the one thing they haven't got. They haven't got that fear yet, because they're not battle scarred. I think once Luke Little's been beaten a few more times by the same people, then you'll see what his true character's really like, and he has got that character to bounce back.
Do stay with us. After the break, we're going to chat more about the current state of youth darts with Phil Taylor. Welcome back. We are here with Phil Taylor, the 16-time world champion, talking all things youth darts. I suppose in your career there was kind of 2 phases. There was a phase where most players were a little bit older, and then maybe in the second half of your professional career you had the likes of James Wade, Michael Van Gerwen,
Yeah.
Adrian Lewis, who are now well emerging. What was that like to see players becoming professional dart players a lot younger?
It was good. It was good. Yeah. You needed more chance, especially me, because I was getting a little bit stale. You know, you reach a level because you're only beating the people who are there. You know, when players compare, would Phil Taylor compete with Luke Little and Luke Humphries? Of course I would. I'd have raised my game up. I'd have been fitted. The equipment's better. The shirts are better. Everything's better. The lighting's better. And then you play the players. You beat the players who are there at the time, like your Alan Warreners and your Peter Manleys. And then another generation comes through, and then they're a bit better. So you have to raise your game and find a way of practicing to beat them. And then another generation comes through. I mean, I've did it for 30 years, so I've seen 3 decades. Same as what John Lowe did. And then it comes to a stage in your life where you just can't do it anymore. You know, your mind's willing, but your body isn't. So I couldn't put the effort in, and I couldn't do the travelling like I used to do. And that is, again, it's not all about darts. You know, you go to the Premier League and you think, oh, but Barney didn't play very well tonight. Well, it isn't just about playing darts. It's getting there, it's practicing. It's late nights, early mornings, aeroplanes. You know, there's a lot more to it than people think.
Let's look to the future. You're still active on the exhibition circuit. I know you don't play, but you're very much
No, I
involved
don't play
in the
now.
game.
I haven't even got a set of darts.
Wow.
I can get a set off my sponsors, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't mind. Look, you've seen some young players emerging through now for the future. Kids like Jaden Walker, just 13 years of age. What do you think when you see them getting on the big stage, taking on the likes of Luke Humphries?
I know, and doing big finishes. Brilliant. No fear. And for the next few years, they're going to get better. You know what I mean? I think the one thing can be a youngster's downfall is earning money. That could be the biggest downfall. Like you see it in other sports, you know, they want to go out and enjoy themselves. Obviously, they want to go out, they want to start courting girls or whatever, and then the gambling comes into it, and they start drinking when they're 18. So there's a lot more in life to come. But if you're young, and say you're 15, 16, and you're a millionaire, you want to go and enjoy it, don't you? You don't worry. But you have to be disciplined, where you say, no, I'm not just going to leave that in the bank, or get your parents to invest it so you can't touch it. Say a 5 or a 10-year investment, and then just leave it there and let it gain money, and you carry on working.
Do you think that we will reach a level where darts academies sort of become a little bit like football academies,
Yes.
where they're teaching those lessons not to
Yeah.
be involved in alcohol
Well,
and
that I would. You know what I mean? If I changed the curriculum in schools as well, I think children now, I've got 11 grandkids, but if I was an headmaster, I'd want to teach them a little bit more about life skills, about cooking, about peeling potatoes, you know what I mean? Simple things, paying your taxes, how to pay your, you know, work out how much VAT or whatever else you got to work. You know, I mean, these are things that they don't know. When I left school, I hadn't got a clue about tax. I wish they'd alert me. I mean, I'd have claimed a bit more back, but I didn't know nothing about it. Never taught. I know where the capital of Australia was, but I hadn't got a clue how to pay my taxes. And I think that's more important now. And cooking, you know what I mean? Stop all this. And Britain has got a big, massive problem with weight. So learn kids how to cook nice meals.
Well, that's the thing as well, isn't it? Because we mentioned your career, that the contrast between young players now, they sort of get to a position where all they have to do is play darts. They get management teams, everything's taken care of for them.
Yeah.
So I really think that maybe we're in agreement that the next stage needs to be almost a scholarship for darts players to be learning these lessons.
Because it might not last. You know what I mean? That's what they do in America. You know, no matter how good sportsman you are, you have to go to university and you have to pass your exams. Otherwise, you might get your arm broke tomorrow, fall off your bike or something, and your career's gone. Then you've got nothing to fall back on. So I would advise any youngster to make sure you study, get your exams, get a trade behind you, and then if you can, push on with your darts.
I couldn't have you here without picking your brains. Are you aware
of any brains?
Are you aware of any names that you expect to go far in the future, kids that you've seen that you think might go on? And
Not really. My age now, I can watch a player, then I forget his name the next day. That's the problem. I know him by face, but there's many young dart players now, lots of dart players. And I get all the people at work in the academies telling me, like Daryl Fitton will tell me, Phil, keep your eye on this young lad. He's only 9 years old. He's hit at 9 darting, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, I will, yeah, then it's gone.
Well, obviously here we had Luke Littler win the MODUS Super Series twice. Yeah. Quite recently we had a lad called Jensen Walker, 18 years of age. He won it. He's on the monitor now. Won the entire series.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know his face.
How much of a springboard can playing here at the MODUS Super Series be for these players to go and be ready as professionals within a couple of years?
Well, they've won something, so they know what it's like to win. There's nothing better than being on a stage, playing a competitive game, and winning it. The only thing I'd say to him is have a bit of pocket money, leave most of your prize money in the bank for rainy days, and then just push on and keep practicing.
Coming up here at the Super Series as well, we've got a special week which is going to be players between the ages of 16 to 21. So all 12 players will be in that age bracket. We could well unearth a new talent. What would you say to those players that are going to be part of that? What would your advice be for them in front of the cameras on the stage?
Well, my advice to myself is make sure you're ready. Make sure you go up there, you're fully practiced, because that's the biggest muscle in your body. If your head's right, you can win the tournament. If your brain isn't set properly, you ain't going to win. You know what I mean? Do the work. You've got to put the groundwork in. If you build a house, you've got to put the footings in. The concrete's the hardest bit. You know, laying a brick is a lot easier than lifting concrete up all day. So do the hard work, and that becomes easier then. But practice serious. I never practiced, you know, lazy daisy. I didn't have a mobile phone on my chin like this. Like I've seen professional players practicing in a practice room, ready for go on stage with a mobile phone like this. And I've looked at him thinking, I used to say to him, where's my mobile phone? I don't know, in my bedroom back in the hotel. Why have you bought a phone for? You're on the stage here, you're playing for, I don't know then, £200,000 or £300,000, and you've got a mobile phone stuck in your ear 10 minutes before you're going on stage. Not right.
Yeah. And I mean, those kids as well, they're going to be playing people in the same age bracket. I think with Luke Littler, Bo Greaves, another one for on the girls' side.
Yeah, special people, the pair of them are. They've got something about them.
Do the other kids need to not rush it, not think I need to be like Luke Littler, need to be like Bo Greaves?
No, I'm same as them. I wanted to rush it. I want to be the best as quick as I can and stay there as well. So it's easy. It's a lot easier. It's not easy, but it's easy to get to the top. But to stay at the top is a lot harder because you start defending. You've noticed that the PDC rankings, how a player can be number 1 and number 2 in the world and then drop down to number 20 because the prize money is so big on the majors. So you've got to start defending. And that's when it becomes a bit more harder because everybody's talking about it.
Jensen Walker is going to be playing in that Rising Stars. We can show you the names of all the players involved in it now. Ryan Branley's played on this stage before. Charlie Manby hit a huge average on the development tour. Other players like Harry Gregory, Daniel Stevenson returning to the Modus Super Series. Phil, is there any name that jumps out to you?
Yes.
I know you might not remember all of them.
The one that should come from Stoke, Nathan Potter.
Yeah.
Harry Gregory, I've heard of. Yeah, Thomas Banks, Jensen Walker. No, I do know the names now. Caden Smith, I've heard of.
So it should be a competitive week.
I think it'd be a cracker. Yeah. What Modus are doing here is remarkable, really. You know, it's a genius thought what they've done, and they've given players a good living, and it's good practice for them as well.
Certainly is.
And one of these is going to be playing for £1 million soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, £5,000 for a week here. Jensen Walker won the series, 18 years old, £25,000 he won for that series.
Fantastic.
You've had the best advice, kids. Listen.
Free as well, not charged you.